Denise Richards and her husband Aaron Vipers are getting a divorce. TMZ has learned. According to court documents obtained by TMZ, Aaron filed for divorce on Monday in Los Angeles. He lists the usual irreconcilable differences as the reason for the split and says the date of separation is July 4th. The now former couple had been married for over 6 years. They share no minor children together. According to the documents, Aaron is seeking spousal support from Denise. He estimates she's grossing over $250,000 a month from OnlyFans, TV, brand deals, and appearances. And he says he has no income. Aaron's filing gives a peek into the estranged couple's spending habits. Hey, he estimates that on average they spend $105,000 a month, including $20,000 on clothes, $18,000 on rent, $15,000 on eating out, $15,000 on entertainment, $100K on groceries, and $8,000 on utilities. And he says Denise has been footing the bill. Denise's estranged husband also wants the court to confirm some property he says belongs to him. Namely, power tools, a 2018 Indian Dark Horse motorcycle, and a Ford Shelby GT500. The estranged couple got hitched September 8, 2018, and it's the second divorce for Denise. She previously divorced Charlie Sheen, and Aaron previously divorced Nicolette Sheridan, and now what was once a relationship believed by many to have been a picture of stability, at least by Hollywood standards, has quietly come to an end. It's one thing for a marriage to dissolve. It's another for it to do so under the unforgiving lens of the public eye. And yet, like many high-profile romances, the world only gets fragments of the truth court documents, red carpet photos, social media glimpses, and speculation. But behind those fragments are real lives, real emotions, and the complicated unraveling of a bond that was once strong enough to say, "I do." When Denise and Aaron married in 2018, it came after a whirlwind romance. There was something undeniably charming about the way they appeared together. Denise, long admired for both her beauty and resilience, had weathered storms in the public eye before. Her turbulent relationship with Charlie Sheen had been front-page news for years. She'd endured the tabloids, the gossip, the speculation while raising her children and rebuilding her career. By the time Aaron entered the picture, she seemed to have found a gentler rhythm in life. And many fans viewed him as a calming presence. Their marriage wasn't just a union of hearts, but of lives integrated publicly and privately. Aaron appeared on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, often standing beside Denise during moments of drama, confusion, and revelation. Their on-screen presence was often marked by him serving as her protector, her confidant, and her sounding board. He was her husband, yes, but also her partner in navigating a world that often scrutinizes women like Denise, famous, outspoken, and unafraid to be vulnerable. But time has a way of revealing the truths that glitz can't cover. Relationships evolve, and sometimes, instead of growing closer, people begin to drift. The decision to separate on July 4th, a day symbolic of freedom and independence, seems almost poetically painful. What once felt like a partnership became, over time, something that could no longer be reconciled. And though the words irreconcilable, differences are so often repeated in court filings, they've lost some meaning. Behind those words are years of unspoken disagreements, growing emotional distances, and needs left unmet. The financial picture painted by Aaron's court filing is telling not only in numbers but in narrative. $105,000 a month in spending. It's a figure almost too massive to comprehend for the average person. The breakdown of expenses: $20,000 on clothing, $18,000 on rent, thousands more on food, entertainment, and utilities, offers a glimpse into the world they inhabited. A world of luxury, yes, but also one where money flowed as part of the lifestyle, not necessarily as a measure of personal satisfaction or emotional fulfillment. What's striking isn't just how much was spent, but that Aaron claims Denise was the one primarily footing the bill. In a dynamic where one partner earns significantly more, resentment can sometimes grow in subtle ways. Financial imbalance isn't just about numbers, it often speaks to control, independence, and emotional leverage. While the public has long viewed Denise as strong and self-sufficient, Aaron's filing paints himself as someone left without resources, without an income, and perhaps, at least in his view, without recognition for what he brought to the table, emotionally or otherwise. Requesting spousal support is a bold move, especially for a man in the public eye. It challenges outdated societal assumptions about masculinity and dependency. But behind the legal language is a man acknowledging that the lifestyle he lived with Denise is no longer sustainable without her. Whether that's fair, justified, or opportunistic depends on who's telling the story. But what's certain is that divorce doesn't just end love. It untangles every thread of shared life, finances, dreams, and expectations. The items Aaron wants the court to confirm as his property, his power tools, his motorcycle, and his Shelby may seem small in the grand scheme of their financial world, but they're symbolic. These are things that speak to identity, to personal space, to control. In the midst of losing a marriage and a lifestyle, Aaron appears to be trying to hold on to pieces of himself, literal pieces that remain untouched by the divorce. It's not about the monetary value of a tool set or a vehicle. It's about grounding himself in something that belongs solely to him and for Denise. This marks another chapter in a life that has never shied away from public complexity. Her first divorce from Charlie Sheen was an open wound played out in the spotlight. Yet she remained composed, taking care of their children, staying focused on her career, and learning to coexist with the very public chaos that defined much of Sheen's public image at the time. This time, the divorce is less scandalous, more mature, but no less heartbreaking. It's easy to forget, when reading court filings or skimming through tabloid headlines, that these are real people. Denise Richards isn't just a former Bond girl or a reality TV star. She's a woman who, like so many others, has tried to find love again after heartbreak. She believed in this relationship. She invited someone into her world, into her family, into her public and private life. And now she must face the reality of letting it go. Aaron, too, is not just a man seeking alimony. He's someone whose life has been defined in part by the women he's loved and lost. His marriages to Nicolette Sheridan and now to Denise were both two high-profile women. With each ending, there must come a moment of reflection. What went wrong? What could have been different? Where do I go from here? And perhaps that's the hardest part about divorce that people don't talk about enough: the silence afterward. The moments when the paperwork is done and the cameras move on and you're left alone in a house that used to be shared. The echoes of laughter, the shared routines, the inside jokes, they don't vanish immediately. They linger, they haunt, and eventually they fade. But the pain often comes first. For the public, this is simply another Hollywood split fodder for gossip blogs, morning talk shows, and online speculation. But for Denise and Aaron, it's a personal earthquake. The foundation of their shared life is gone, and both now face the daunting task of starting over again, of rebuilding identities, not defined by the relationship, of finding purpose beyond the promises that no longer hold weight. What makes this story resonate isn't just the fame attached to the names, it's the universality of it all. Love found, love lost, lives merged, then pulled apart. The reality of two people who once looked into each other's eyes and promised forever, now finding themselves on opposite sides of a courtroom. And yet, even in heartbreak, there's dignity. Neither party has, at least publicly, resorted to cruel words or accusations. There's a quiet sadness in that, but also grace, a recognition that what they had mattered, that it deserves to end not in fire and fury, but with an understanding that sometimes love is not enough to hold people together.